Welcome back to Feature in 5. We're still here with Cato Grace. Cato, the first video we talked about New York being our primary data center, had a big failure, and we were successfully able to fail over DR as a service over to AWS Cloud. So it looks like New York is back online. What's my next step?
So the next thing we're going to do is, as you said, New York is back online. All the hosts are operating again. So we're going to go back into VMware Site Recovery, and we're going to run our recovery again, and that's going to clean up any of those errors that we had from before.
Oh yeah, we had a bunch of errors because we couldn't true up because the site was offline. So we can actually automate the cleanup of that?
Oh yeah, SRM will take care of cleaning up all of that. And you can see it's going to just run through the recovery plan again, and anything that it was able to complete before, it's just going to skip over, and it's just going to do anything that it needs to take care of to get everything all cleaned up. And we're done. So our environment at that point is all ready to go. And we're now ready to just run our reprotect.
Okay.
So the reprotect process is another one of the really nice things about Site Recovery Manager, because it's going to take care of reversing replication and reversing protection. Again, all automated, orchestrated, other than just kicking off that workflow, that's all that you have to do. And the protection process is just completely taken care of so that we're ready at that point to fail back in the other direction.
Okay, so those 500 VMs are still working in my DR site, but I've just basically did the prep work to get New York ready. I'm replicating my data, so now whenever I'm ready to go back, I can actually do that?
Yeah, exactly. And if we take a look here, we can see in cluster 1, now, instead of those placeholder VMs being within VMware Cloud and AWS, they're now within our New York site. And if we take a look here at our VMware Cloud and AWS cluster, all of our VMs are running, everything's still fine. And so now what we're going to do is, theoretically at this point, we could go straight to running a failover or a planned migration back to New York. However, if we have time, and in this case we do, one of the things that's a really good idea is to utilize VMware Site Recovery's non-disruptive testing capability.
Oh yeah, to me that's the best part. I mean, it's always best to make sure you can run a test, make sure it works before you actually hit that button, right?
Yeah. No, I still think this is the coolest feature, aside from the ability to orchestrate that recovery.
No question.
This is the coolest feature of SRM, is that completely non-disruptive testing of your recovery plan as frequently as you want, as often as you want, reduces risks, makes things, just gives you that confidence.
No surprises.
Yeah. The last thing, obviously, that you want in the middle of a disaster is to be surprised by something not working the way that you would expect.
I agree.
So if we go back over to our vCenter, we can see now that we still see that those VMs have that placeholder icon, but now they're actually powered on because we powered all those VMs on as part of running this test. Those VMs are now connected to a test network, so they're isolated from our production network.
Just a bubble network,
VMs.
just to show proof of concept?
Yeah. They're all able to communicate with each other, but not with external VMs, so no MAC address conflicts or anything like that. And then from a replication standpoint, the way that we're doing this is we're doing this off of a snapshot. So we're not impacting our RPO. There's no change to RPO, no impact to replication. Completely non-disruptive to those production VMs that are running over in cluster 1. Take a look at those. Everything's running exactly the way that it would be before.
Yeah.
And no impact there. So now the last thing that we're going to do in this video is we're going to go back into Site Recovery and just clean up that test.
Okay.
And cleaning up that test, again, simple workflow, click, next, finish. And all this is going to do is it's just going to power off those test VMs and then delete those snapshots and then get those removed out of inventory so that everything is all set up and ready to go for if we needed to do a failover again or a planned migration.
Beautiful. So we've basically cleaned up, we've tested, we saw that the test works, and then we're reprotected. Yeah. We did our test, and now we've cleaned up, we're ready whenever we want to fail back over to New York.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Another feature in 5. I like it. So more information on storagehub.vmware.com, but thank you for watching.